Yo, yo, yo. You already know what it is. Sandbox. Man, it's your co-CEO Jared here. It's your other co-CEO here, Mr. RTW. You already know who it is, Aden Freeman. What we talking about today, twin? Hey, look, y'all. The moment is finally here. The season finale of season 2. It's been a roller coaster ride just through all of this, from starting Sandbox up until now. And we started Sandbox back in April. No, it was not. It wasn't even. It wasn't even April.
We started. Let me see that.
Cause twin, Sandbox is a Virgo.
Let's say give it.
We started Sandbox in September 9th, I'm pretty sure. So we coming up on the 1-year anniversary and the end of season 2, per se. You feel me? To start really with the start of season 3. We really come at a converge with all of our projects. You feel me? Finishing up the Cypher, the Sandbox Creative Showcase. You feel me? Our MSB and WSB project, you feel me? The end of our senior year, and with all of the, effort we've put in, we really want to look at how it's just going to go the way it goes, you feel me? No matter how much you really put in, it just plays out how it does. And, you can plan with what you've learned and how you move forward and what you do in the moment. But how it is how it is. And you got to win regardless. You got to, you got to quantify your success. You got to derive success from what you do, no matter what it is. If you just believe yourself to be working towards this huge goal that you have through these little menial tasks and what you can do. Like, you're working a few hours at your job and, you're making these investments for a mixer setup, making these investments for a camera, making these investments for a MacBook so you can, do FL. Listen, you got to realize that in the moment, you have to find it as successful as when you felt that you needed this 2 months ago. You got to congratulate yourself every day because it's always going to be a new day, and it's always going to have to be a moment you have to look forward. So you can look back and remain in your past, or you can look forward, rationalize in the moment, and feel it in your future. I really couldn't have put it much more better than that. Being that Sandbox is literally been my child. And I wouldn't even say Sandbox started 1 or 2 years ago. Sandbox has just been something encapsulated over the years at that. Because it will always personify itself in different aspects of what we were doing. Whether that be through clothing or videos or music. It was always the baseline idea, and the ideology was always there. And it just getting to the place where we are now and hitting that point, it's sort of bittersweet, I would say, because I'm so proud of where we are and how far we have come, and just despite all the adversity. But in all actuality, we're going into a time it's going to be a little confusing, but yet challenging, but I'm up for it. And I want to segue into just talking about some of the things that's been really going on. Like we talk about it all the time, what's going on behind the scenes here at Sandbox. So we thought we'd take the moment to have a little sit down with y'all and just explain what's going on. Call it a little wind down. I'm on my Issa Rae timing today.
Issa Rae.
You never watched Insecure?
Twin, get on with it.
Ah,
I
here.
don't get the reference.
Oh, okay. You gotta start watching Insecure. It's on HBO Max. It's great. It's great. I love it.
I'm not tapped in with the HBO Max.
Ah, and
Ever since they took off my favorite cartoon, I was off of it.
okay. Well, let's get on with it. Now let's get to. I say let's get on with the most hot button issue and the hot button topic at the moment: the Sandbox cipher.
Let me see the mic.
Nah, let me get my point across. About this. So, the Sandbox cipher was just a half of an entire production piece that we were orchestrating called the Sandbox Creative Showcase. And we already released a piece of it earlier with the poetry segment, with fan favorites such as Daya, Amaka, and Brandon. So there was supposed to be a second piece, which is being released concurrently, titled The Sandbox Cypher, where we would have local Atlanta artists come through and just showcase their rawness and their authenticity through their music and through just whatever means that they wanted to, and we would give them that outlet. Now, with how things went, some things did fall through, but it's been a journey, and I wouldn't really have had it. I would like to say I would have it another way, because God knows I would, but I feel like it'll it all will make sense in due time, and for what it is, it'll count.
The Sandbox cipher, to even say that and have it mean something so much to not only myself, but one of my best friend Jared here and the people around me, just means so much to not only my heart, but the endeavors I've really been trying to produce and visualize and actualize in Sandbox. So the Sandbox cipher, as Jared said, was supposed to be an event, well, a half of an event titled the Sandbox Creative Showcase that we were producing and getting out to y'all. Man, it's just so sad to say. But nevertheless, we're gonna keep producing it, and y'all gonna see a little bit some of it coming. So it's not too bad. Nevertheless, with that, you know, dang, I lost what I was saying, man.
It's just the thing with the Sandbox cipher right now. It's been something we've been pondering and trying to get into fruition for, I'd say, like since December. It started out as sort of like a novelty idea earlier in, like, I'd say like a November, but then towards the the end of the first semester, it started to resonate with a lot of people, and it was like, you know what, I could get down with that, and then like we started to get the ball rolling and the ideas flowing, and it just
Oh, I almost forgot. Yeah, with the Sandbox Creative Showcase, we really started it because of a local, not necessarily start of it, but it really found its foregoing and foundation with a local poetry club at the school that we were kind of working together with on the segment where we got a few kind of exposure moments, but
no, because you know what? No, you know what it was supposed to be? It was the reason, I'm going to be real, the reason the Sandbox Creative Showcase exists, because there was supposed to be a poetry slam at the school, and it never went down. There was never any other meetings of this poetry club. We met all of maybe three, not even four, not even 4 to 5 times, maybe three.
Well, you think you sure we didn't miss one?
No, because I'm not counting them African diaspora meetings. That was something that's we'll get to the African diaspora event. So, but there was supposed to be a poetry slam event, and us being very big on poetry and spoken word, we wanted to work with some people that were already in the club, and then probably get some exposure and like get the word out about something like this, because this is something beautiful. We want to be a part of something like this. So it turned into the entire showcase, And being that we had our struggles and pitfalls with the poetry slam, we ended up getting out the poetry segment as a result, and it worked out beautifully. But then I'll let Aiden talk about the cipher.
Let me tell y'all how this is the point I was really trying to hit on with the cipher and with just Sandbox projects in general, and what I've really learned with this first and second season. With collaboration and individualization being the duality that really defines Sandbox, you learn that it really will just go that way sometimes, especially with collaboration. Coming together with projects on people, especially when you're not necessarily leading and following up, you're gonna face the drawbacks, and all you can really do is move forward, and work with what you have. Like with the cipher, artists had to go on to, what they saw as more beneficial networking events. Unfortunate circumstances have to happen to the best of us, working with a background team, and a diverse set of members, say 3, 4 photographers, videographers, a DJ who has to bring all the equipment to school, then use after school, a set of artists with varying schedules that could come up and pop up at different times. You know, Even saying the Sandbox cipher, which was originally meant to have maybe six, five, even 7 people.
Let me talk.
And twin, before I even slash it to you, the Sandbox cipher, my first dream for it, I wanted to get it at a studio.
Oh,
And we had to
Hey.
Jerry had to really like put it into like terms to me. He was like, twin, we're not gonna be able to actualize that at this moment. I'm like, I just had to settle on that. You feel me? Like Sandbox, one of Sandbox's real like themes of the seasons was settling. Like that's what right, and being content and reserved and okay with the outcome of projects that you really pour your heart into. Like you see with a lot of projects at this school that they have these big ideals and not necessarily enough of the workforce to actually workforce drive, you feel me, vision enough, whether it will may be to actualize their goals, especially with the team they're working with. But with Sandbox, we always did our best to really work with the standards that we could achieve with all of our effort, and still produce our best product. And I just really say I'm really grateful for what Sandbox has taught me with that, just taking it step by step and, working within what you can actualize and taking them steps, man, to really set something up for yourself, not really skipping and dotting around to what you really desire from it. You have to put that effort in, you know, especially with the editing, trying to put some production out, whether it be Opium Taste, BB, RTW. Talk to him, twin.
Oh, so, um, divulging from away from the cipher a little bit to a more positive note, we've been basking a lot more in our own solo endeavors through our own, I wouldn't say companies or brands. I move the way I like to classify it. I move as a movement. It's more of a way of life than more so a brand or a company rather than anything. I like the way that I constitute this. It's my being. It's how I move day to day. So with that being said, I have my movement, Bonnet Boys, which really encapsulates just being one with true self, because I don't have the place or means in my life anymore where I have to fake who I am at this point. I don't see the purpose in it. I'm truly who I am, and the the term Bonnet Boys stemmed from A joke between me and my friends. What's up, twin?
Let me see.
I was getting to talk about that BB.
I know. Just let me see real quick.
Let me get to talk about that BB.
Yeah, just let me see.
What you want to talk about?
I want to talk about that BB.
What you
So
know
look,
about that BB?
with that BB, with BB, and with RTW, the main theme that really brought them together was the idea that it was a movement to persuade people to really be themselves and follow what they believe to be best suit for them. You feel me? Bonnet Boys really stemmed from kind of idea that a bonnet wearing person would be lazier than another individual, or a bonnet was seen as unprofessional in a certain standard. And whether that may be so or not, Bonnet Boys really stems from being true to your character and really stepping in your own individualization, how it stands with what you believe to be right and what you believe to be true for yourself, not just what society may be reflecting onto the standard.
Exactly.
And so with RTW, that really stood as something for reveal the world, and the world not to just be my world but the perspective, reveal the suffering perspective, reveal the perspective that is being undermined, reveal the perspective. I feel like so much of this world is swept under the rug, and we just see so much, not even necessarily suffering, but what's that word? I know it. I'm always on it. You know, look,
Which word you talking about?
it starts abuse. You feel me? You see so much abuse of the setting. What's being offered, and I had to really come to understand within myself that, I really could be abusing what's around me. You feel me? You know, unintentionally, inadvertently, and so on. And what I had to come to understand is I gotta work within my limits. I gotta work within my limits. You feel me?
You try to. Sometimes you do, and that's what I've come to learn, like with the Sandbox stuff. You as a person, because I've learned a lot. Like just I've learned a lot about you. Like as we've been trying to work on this, because more so than anything, like working with the entire Sandbox crew in and of itself, and not even just like on the work, like on a personal level, it's been a struggle. It is. I will say that, and I won't get too deep into that because that's neither here or there, but like just these work relationships and then like the relationship I've had to develop with Aden over time, it's been a struggle because we bump heads on this Sandbox mess all day. It is, but I wouldn't necessarily have it any other way because it gets to points where it's like I want to rip his head off, but it's like sometimes just those talks do need to be had. And like he said earlier, like I was bashing his head in about about us trying to get in the studio for his cipher, and not even to just get on the Sandbox, working on this RTW shoot. So just working with RTW and Bonnie Boys in and of itself has been it hasn't been to the same magnitude, say a Sandbox, but it has had its own. It's let's get to talking about this RTW because you got to talking about that BB. Let me get to talking about this RTW.
Talk about the RTW.
So, I remember when Aiden was slowly doing the rollout for RTW, and I saw it go through so many different stages over time. And it always intrigued me because I never knew what I was really going to see next. So he was like, "Hey, bro." One day he just hit me on my phone. He's like, "Can you throw this up on the IG and had a logos like supporting like yeah like we all tapped in." So I'm just like, "For sure." So, and I'm repping the team everywhere I go.
Oh,
Like
dog, I remember that day, bro. What was that? What was that profile picture like?
the pink joint.
You talking about that? Oh, the S. What was it?
It was the. It was I forgot how you drew it, but it was
Was it them eyes? 20?
nah. It wasn't the. It was the eyes were out, but it was like the old font. It wasn't like the one that's on the hats. But nonetheless, in the early stages of RTW, I just saw it go through a lot of different phases, and then in the culmination, it was like the RTW collection was about to drop. And so Aden hits me up, and he's like, "Yo," he hits the entire group chat, the entire team that's supposed to be working the shoot. And he said he's like, "Okay, we're gonna meet here. We're gonna be here at this time, and we're gonna get there. We're gonna go out to eat and have a great time after." I get to this shoot. He's 2 hours late. It is hot. It is early October, so it is prime summer, like prime summer heat. It is scorching outside. I'm dying. So I'm just like, oh. Then I'm sitting in the car with John, and we're just like, where Aiden at? And then people start trickling in and trickling in and trickling in slowly but surely. So we get to doing the shoot, and it's going smooth. It's going smooth. It took. I'll probably in the edit somewhere. I'll probably throw up a couple of clips. I'll throw up a couple of clips of this RTW shoot, but it's just going and dealing with that. Oh my god. His RTW shoot was so fun, but it was such it was a headache. It was
Listen, with all of, I'll say, RTW, Bonnet Boys, Sandbox Productions, all of them have been lessons and just takeaways from what you can really learn from just doing this, not only entrepreneurial work, but that, individual work for what you believe and your endeavors you're really working on, whether it be, college, entrepreneurial work, film work, feel me, artist work, just any kind of individual work you're working on, the lessons have been ever present. You feel me? With that RTW shoot, I really learned that I do need to have more foundation. I'm not going to be able to skip out on that foundation that needs to be set, with actualized goals and my realizations. You feel me? With the Bonnet Boys project, you feel me? I realized that I will have to settle and I will have to make adjustments for things that we really want to put out.
because even cooking up even cooking up Bonnet Boys in of it itself, because I remember when I made the very first.
Flash that intricate Bonnet Boys design.
Oh, I'll flash all of the the early pieces of the Bonnet Boys merchandise, but okay. But when I made the first sample, ideally, that's how I envisioned it being at the time. Now, given that it has taken some creative liberties as time has gone on, it's gotten to a point where I can say I'm proud of it, but just like even the day that we sat down to cook up the first part of the collection, it was we had to rework, like we had to cook logos on the spot and then rework those into something new that we could put on the hat to make it tangible. So even working with that, I know more so now I have to work within my own limits, because I know sometimes I can overstep and I can be a little overbearing with things that I do envision. But it's just the maximalist, I'd say, that's in me, because I want to make the best project possible. But sometimes it can be my own pitfall to an extent. And I see that with all projects, we that be the Cypher, the African Diaspora event, and so on. It's just
Listen, man, as a visionary, you really do seek the ideal, presentation of your work. You feel me? With the cipher, I had such high and mighty goals, like, shoot for stars, aim on the moon type beat, you feel me? And with that, you feel me, I did learn that you do really set the standard for, what you want to be put out. So I may have had this one side that was the most ideal presentation of the cipher. Then, I had a kind of, okay, a settlement right here. You know, those are the standards you really want to work with with what you're putting out for your presentations. You feel me?
Right.
And because moving into this economy, moving into this world, you really do start to learn that that's just how it's gonna go sometimes. Like you'll be working Coachella, and artists will drop out of nowhere.
Shout out Frank Ocean.
Shout out Frank Ocean. Like that's just how this stuff goes sometimes.
Look, let's keep it real. This is still a podcast episode. This isn't us just giving our sob stories. Look, let's keep it real. Let's get to talk about this Frank Ocean real quick.
Oh, we talk. Look, I'm not. Look, let me see about the Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean is one of, if not the most influential and home name individuals out there right now. He is so to himself and indicative of himself in what he does with everything that you really can't. You find a hard time having to disrespect it, because he's so private with what he does that if you really have something to say, you can say it and it will still probably go nowhere. Because you feel me, at the end of the day, that's just how it be rolling with Frank Ocean. Like, look, I want to say this. I love me some Frank Ocean. Like, he be hitting, and you feel me. But Frank Ocean signed his twin.
Frank Ocean is, if I'm not what is?
Twin. Hey Siri.
I'm pretty sure Frank Ocean's like a Gemini or an Aquarius.
He's a Gemini, Aquarius, coach.
I think he's like a Gemini or an Aquarius. He's something. Wait, it's something funny.
I can see him as a Gemini, Aquarius.
It's probably like a Gemini Aquarius one. What is it?
He October 28th.
He a Scorpio? Oh. He a Scorpio?
He a Scorpio.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Oh God, I understand it. So look, twin. My brother died. It's over.
I didn't necessarily even want to go there with the talk regarding Frank, but like,
listen, like for real. I feel like Frank, as an individual, was at that status and point of his life that I don't think he was ever really into the materialism to begin with. You feel me? So, yeah, he is a creator at the end of the day. So if as you see, if his vision cannot be reached, he really could be too insecure to bring it out. You feel me? Like, with every production he made, he's always been secure with it.
I mean, but even with the insecurity, because like take the Coachella situation right now. Do you know all what's going on like the first weekend?
Okay, so look, only thing I seen was that his standards weren't being met, so he ended up dropping out the second week.
Right. It's not even that he just dropped out of the second week. More so, it's the fact that like his standards weren't being met, and it was to the detriment of a plethora of people, because you had X, Y, and Z amount of people paying upwards $500 and up, because let's be real, those Coachella tickets are not cheap. They hit it more than the Beyonce tickets. So those Coachella tickets are let's be real, like 1,000 up. Then you have to get navigation out there, so that's like you had to get a plane ride, get a hotel, food. Coachella is out in the desert in Cali, twin.
You for real?
Yes. Where'd you think Coachella was?
I never been. I didn't know.
I'll say Coachella is in the desert in California, twin. So it's I want to go too, but we gonna have to have some bread, twin.
Bread ain't even a problem. Let's just go. should go next year for Sandbox.
I was trying.
You gotta be 21.
Nah, 20, you gotta be like 18. Well, you gotta. I think you gotta be like 18. But oh God, I wanted to go this year because I
I
was
want to
gonna.
go in June. That's the thing.
I want to try to go.
Oh, 20 for Sandbox.
No, no, just in general. What's up? Yeah, yeah. Swin, what are you talking about? Swin, we trying to go to this. We trying to go to this Coachella. Swin, what are you talking? Swin, what are you talking about?
God was trying to talk about drinking.
Ugh, what are you even talking about? Aiden, what are you even talking about? Back to Frank Ocean. Back to Frank Ocean. So, being that what he did with that whole that closing set, he it up he didn't even get on stage for like an hour and a half or so. So all those people were there hot, going through all of that for X, Y, and Z amount of time. Then he didn't even perform the entire time because curfew or something. So the set got cut short. So he didn't even play all the songs. Then but look to him. Then like you still had then before that, like he had this intricate set and all of this. Then he had them demantle it. And it took I don't even know how long to get that set done. And God knows everybody I know.
That shit they had to melt a whole ice.
That's literally what I'm talking about. Like they had to melt an entire ice rink just because it wasn't what he aligned with his vision. And I can understand being a creative and something not aligning with my vision. God knows, because there's multiple things like with Sandbox like that I wanted to do, but we couldn't even get done. I wanted to have an episode about music. You wanted to have an episode about nature. Neither of those things really came to fruition. Sure, we did get that Voodoo episode, but I wanted an episode directly just catered towards music and all different kinds of how it affects people.
Let me tell you about. If we get to talking about these like lost episodes, man, the AV episode, you feel me? The
AV episode is
twin, the AV episode, the Alarm and Co episode, really a lost episode.
No. Wow, you don't get to talk about this Elon and Co episode. I'm on the mic for this one. So, let's rewind a little bit back to season 1. This was October. Yeah, October. We were in contact with the good people at Elam & Co. Don't get this wrong. I love them. I love them.
They're so progressive. They have a head steady leader on top of them. They are rocking with some solid leaders in Elam & Co. Y'all are definitely gonna see some work coming from them very soon that y'all are not expecting. Like working with these, I will say this before we get to start about talking about anything. Working with these Westlake collaboratives, you always see that these are steady and rock head minds. So whenever we're talking about this or critiquing them, we always do so with the notion that when we working with them at the time, we have full conviction in it, and we knew what we were getting into. You feel me? But sometimes unfortunate circumstances, new learnings about people, that's just how it goes. So saying this is full disclaimer, we love Elam & Co. and all of these collaboratives. Like, we worked with them because we chose them.
For sure. And I won't even just, like, generalize it to the idea of lost episodes, because it's so much more than just lost episodes. It's lost moments, per se, because it's a lot of things that we had visualized in our heads going into what we wanted to have done going on with Sandbox over the course of the year, but it didn't come back into fruition. Now, tying that back into Elam & Co., back in October, we had the chance to work on an episode of the Sandbox podcast with Elam & Co. And they came in, it had Sandbox member Tyler on there, shout out T. And it featured Elam & Co.'s co-founders Daya and Jalen. Daya, as you all have seen, she's previously been on the poetry segment. Shout out Sandbox alum. And so, like when we got in the room, the energy was beautiful. The episode, it's not a bad episode.
I love the episode.
It's a very good episode, because having been in the room for all of except one Sandbox episode, I can say it was a little rough and ragged, but the general conversation and that was had with what was going on in the room at the time, it was a really good episode. It was just the circumstances that surrounded getting there that let a little tick me off, and it's just like, ugh, it's like that looming headache that sort of deal with it, but it comes and goes, and I just,
Elon Cole is episode 4, ain't it?
yeah, episode 4.
Yeah, let me talk. Elon Cole, what it really taught me at the beginning is that what it really taught me is you cannot begin to really promote until you have that foundation in place.
Right.
Cause we were trying to get that Elon Co episode weeks for weeks, and we had put it out there that it was coming, So by the time we could really get out there, all the hype was pretty much died down for it, Cause we said, okay, Friday, we get it on the page, okay, it's coming out Friday, it's on the TikTok, it's coming out Friday, it's coming out Friday, we let everybody know it's coming out Friday. It don't come out till next Thursday. We get some more. Next Thursday we get some more promo.
I don't even
out.
think it dropped on a Friday.
I think it dropped on like a Tuesday or something.
I don't even think the episode dropped on a Friday for that matter. And then let me get that, because it was bad. Bad is the wrong word. It was frustrating because there was a lot of technical things going wrong with the episode, like trying to get audio fixed. Like, there was a lot of microphone issues going on at the time, and it took a lot of time to figure out what was really going on technically wise. Just trying to get all of that straight and orchestrated. It took, just me, y'all see it all the time. I'm going dumb on that board and trying to fix whatever may be going on in the moment. And I think the technical issues showed the worst there. Out of any episode on Sandbox, that was probably the most technically frustrating, editing wise and recording wise.
Man, listen, if you want to talk about frustrating episodes, I was listening to episodes. I listened to the full episode 2 this morning, and let me tell you how that static is killer.
That static. If y'all hear a fragmented piece of it sometimes on occasion, depending on how the editing process may go.
Depending on how far you go back to the Sandbox episodes.
Right.
We really, started cracking down more on the static as we learn more editing techniques, learn more transitions, just learn more in the working of Sandbox. But the farther you go back in the Sandbox, you really do see, where our production really started from and the foundation of it all,
Cause man, let me
Talk to me.
all right, so starting out with Sandbox, originally I wasn't even on the editing. Like, all of the editing, I'd say from episode 4, well, I wouldn't even say any episodes of the podcast. Like,
I say 1 to 3.
I wasn't even on one. I was on 1 to 3 on the editing, but no, it was Kanye. Some of you may remember him from episode 1 and 3. Kanye was on the editing for the first 3 episodes, and he did a great job. Because I look back at those. I look back at those episodes, and episode 3 and 2 still stand out as some of my favorites.
I love episode 2.
Episode 2 is one of my favorite episodes, hands down.
I like episode 6 too.
Episode 6, oh, we're gonna get to talk about episode 6. We're gonna get to talk, but nah, shout out Vu. But going back to where'd I leave off?
I'm talking about that episode, how Kanye was really editing.
Yeah. So starting out, can you check how much time we have on the camera, Twin? Thank you.
36 minutes.
36 minutes? Okay, that's smooth. Just checking where we at on the time. But originally I wasn't even on the editing. Kanye was, and when Kanye started not being able to come around so much to work on Sandbox. I already had editing like prowess before then, but it was like, okay, it needs to fully be to the test because it wasn't just, oh, I was editing, say, the opium tapes. As some of you may know, shout out to my Bonnet Boys. But yeah, so when it wouldn't be like that style of editing, it had to be more, I would say, refined and more toned. So getting there, I had to, it was a lot of issues that I would have to start going through and just starting to have to buckle down and get to, especially like starting at that episode 4, just dealing with that static and then all of those multicam issues. And then I guess that segues into you know what episode I'm finna get to talk about. like like I'm Ada's gonna ask for the microphone. I'm not gonna give it to him for a reason. Yeah. I'm I'm gonna get to talking about that episode 5. Like just stay right there. Just stay right there. So um episode 5 is, it's not bad. It's not bad by any stretch of the matter. And we don't have episode 1 isn't bad. I would say it's just it stood its place for the time. It was a start. It was a start. But we're being here now. It's a little cringy, but that's where we were at the time, and I'm not necessarily mad at that place because we knew what we saw for the future. It just took some time to get there.
Talk about that episode 5.
Yeah, let's get to that episode 5. So episode 5, um, we touched upon a really good subject, social media and how it affects us on the day to day, through many different aspects, and it wasn't. I feel as if the energy just, it could have been a little bit better, and then the way it was all orchestrated, it could have moved and flowed a lot smoother just if we had made some better creative liberties. And I feel like that's a moment that we really did lose out on because it's not, even though it does have really good messaging and just good ideals and morals to it, I just feel like it could have been so much more than what it was. And then I guess leaving that out, we get into our, I would say, our breakout moment, so to speak, that episode 6. So I'm gonna let Aiden talk about that episode 6 because he's really the one that orchestrated that one. I'm not gonna hold it. That's him. That's him right there.
Episode 6, man. Look. Let me tell you how. If we just talking about episode 6, we really gotta talk about the dynamics in Sandbox with the, kind of unseen and background jobs that have to be taken care of, With Jared as the main editor, the main kind of Sandbox technician, you feel me? Well, we got a couple other editors, but they be doing. We're not gonna talk about it. I'd have to be the more main interpersonal networker, you feel me? Topic sourcer, dramaturgy worker. I do a lot more of the connective work, you feel me?
Like the day-to-day work.
Yeah,
So to
the
speak.
the day I'm definitely the, if not a manager, creative director. You feel me? I do a lot of the orchestration. You feel me? While Jared is, not to say not of an orchestrator, but he's definitely more of a, engineer, making sure like the train runs smoothly. Like I'm definitely conducting in the way it leads, but he gonna be like, nah, man, we don't got enough coal for that, man. Like we not gonna be burning that long. You
That's what
feel
I was
me?
gonna say. Like when it comes down to it, when I gotta shut something down, I'm gonna shut it down,
We is recording.
man.
Yeah, but look,
So
hold
look,
on, hold
we
on.
go ahead.
But look, for real, like when you really look at it, like if definitely the Sandbox was a train, man, I'm definitely, leading it towards the objectives I have to hope for it and the ideas I have for it. With Jared being the main technician, you feel me, on the main editing and you feel me more technical side. Nevertheless, you feel me, with the designs, the creative directory, you feel me, the art style of it, that's really where I begin to take suit. And with that episode 6, that's where me and Jared really began to start going hand in hand with the music because he felt so passionate with the music. And I found this artist who I believe to be like nothing else I had seen at Westlake, my man Vuda. Now, Jared, talk about that man Vuda, bruh.
Voodoo Ace, Voodoo Ace. Shout out to my
Shout out Vuda.
Ace.
We gonna throw some.
You gonna man working with this Vu is like an honorary Sandbox member because it's whenever he comes into the studio with us, it's all good energy, and he understands what we've been trying to make as an organization, and it's just seeing his growth over time. Even when I first met him, I met him the day of episode 6, and I felt like I had known him all my life. It was just getting, just kicking it with bro, and just working with him, and just doing all of these projects with him. It's been crazy, and that's been some of my like the highlights of like I'd say my filmography work this year at least, working with him at least.
Cause the first thing I met about that man Vu, he he's such a perceptive individual, in the sense that he can kind of ascertain who is really not even just to say about that business, but on that similar timing to him, with how he rolled. Like, cause when he came up on there, he really got to talking about that truth, man. It wasn't, oh, Jerry, you killing me with that sound,
It'll be alright.
killing me.
It'll be alright.
But yeah, he really came on there talking that piece, man. It wasn't nothing we were expecting. When he came on there with that freestyle and shut the room down.
I remember when he sent the beat beforehand. I was like, man, this sounds smooth, but
See, it was me and Trigger.
I didn't know he was gonna come on like that.
Twin. See, it was me and Trigger. Man, Vuda, bruh. And we gonna show y'all a few of these unreleased freestyles, coming up. But working with Vuda, man, it's such a blessing because he always on some down to listen timing, down to really hear it out. You feel me? And try to work with you and bring something to the table, and not really just step into your path. He gonna walk with you. He gonna bring along what he got going on. And really get your goals. Right, where along where side he going, man. He got us out there at these shows, man. We doing that work for him, man. And every time we done ask his man Fuda to be on here, he right over here.
Look, and then going.
Man, fitting his schedule and our schedule, man. I'm telling you.
It's just that entire Vuda episode, and then when I was editing it literally, when I got done with it, I was pretty much done editing the episode that day, if not that next day, and we were able to drop it come Friday. It was just such a seamless process. It had like little to no flaw, and it was raw in this such a beautiful way, because mind
You know
you,
what it was?
what's up?
It was so refreshing to feel that episode after that episode 5.
Ah, twin, please don't let's divulge away from episode 5. You weren't in the studio that day. You don't know. You don't get to talk about episode 5. You don't get to talk about episode 4. You don't get to talk about 5.
In 4 or 5.
Twin, you don't get to talk about either of those episodes. You can talk about the planning, but you don't get to talk about the execution, twin. It's not even.
About the what's it called? The afterward.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Post production.
Ooh, well, but
Execution, the advertisement. Not the execution, but the execution of the advertisement. What I
Yeah,
was
that
talking
was.
about.
Oh
The
no,
actual
I'm talking about the.
cast.
I'm talking about the execution of production,
Oh
like
no,
not
see, I
middle.
be loving the way the episode. I don't believe we have a bad episode.
It's. I feel as if since I've been there all day, I see the flaws, and I don't want to call
Of
them
course, I see
flaws.
the flaws, but I mean, I see the lessons.
It's a lot of lessons, and
I see the lessons.
I think lesson boom that ties in actually perfectly to episode 7, which was our season finale of season 1, and it was with episode 7 we had a good majority of the Sandbox crew here with us in the studio that day, and we talked a lot on growth. And
Growth and the individual.
yeah, it was really good and refreshing to get that. I don't really have anything negative to or
So was Ronnie on
exceptionally.
that episode?
Nah, it was me, you, Shaki, Isha, and
Ain't Aaron
Aaron.
come through?
Yeah, Aaron. Shout out Slime
Shout
Icons.
out Aaron.
But
Throw her
nah,
up there. We gonna throw the place up in there. Bow, 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 bow.
nah. Shout out Jay. Shout out Jay.
Shout out Jay.
But yeah. Then I don't really have anything exceptionally
Let's talk
positive
about that
because we got.
episode because I have a few grievances.
Let's say you already know we got to start rapping soon. We have like 24 minutes.
All right, for sure. We wrapping it up soon. Look, with that episode 7, my only grievance is that I really didn't give the chance for my other executives and co-stars to really give their not necessarily not their opinions, but their piece. You feel me? I really focus in on lean on my growth in the individual. Really not necessarily carrying the episode, but guiding the episode. You feel me? And not to say it was a bad episode, but it was just one of my own personal grievances with the episode. You should watch it though. It's a great
It's a
episode.
really good episode. With all the words that were said during that time, it really it really stood out at that time period for where we were transitioning because we would just get, if not, we were about to be done with the first semester of senior year, and it was,
That was senior finale.
and it was really interesting to say the least. Now, coming back off of that first semester and coming into that second semester,
How long did it take to get that episode?
oh, don't. So, enter, enter season 2. Enter season 2. I I remember it so vividly because it was around the time I started shooting Sandbox promos, and shooting Sandbox promos
You didn't
is
have your camera for like a little bit of the first season.
right because I didn't get that camera until Christmas.
That's true.
So coming in and shooting that very first
Before we even talk
Sandbox
about that,
promo.
let me say something.
What's up, man?
You know, bringing this up, I almost forgot about it. With Sandbox, we don't really talk about it, but we started with a massive team. Massive team.
It was at least 20 of us.
And the way it kind of matriculated and the route it really went down, me and Jared had to really start learning how to be the foreground and background of Sandbox, with how we were trying to put it out. We could kind of orchestrate the team and articulate and run these tasks down to them. But nevertheless, we really had to settle that foundation for them. We really had to lay that foundation and decide how it should be ran and then align it into their schedules. We really had to be the managers of it. And,
I remember.
I'm grateful to have learned that.
We tried to get that Asana going up.
That Asana. And, the moral of the story is, when you're really starting a business, you can try to matriculate and articulate and grab that team out, but you got to be able to run it just as good as any of your team members. By yourself, you got to be able to run it just as good as any of them.
Man, and I remember having to go in and starting to shoot my own promo. Because I remember that first promo I had, like, Torian. Shout out Sandbox Torian.
Shout out to you.
The other... Bro, we gotta start giving him this.
If we talking about Torian, it's T.
Tyler is T. Everybody's
But
T.
in the same room, hey, we're going Ty. We're gonna see.
T. Oh God, it's
God,
Ty and T.
cause look, that's T.
That's it's T.
That's T. That's what it
So, but nah, T shot the very first Sandbox promo, and I remember. Oh, that's the day of the Rico. Oh, we'll save the we'll save the Rico story for the opium tapes. But
Oh man, that Rico today. Sasquatch.
nah, shout out to my
Shout out to
Sasquatches.
Sasquatch, man. Shout out to my. Hey, look, Sandbox Sasquatch, man. You know how we get down. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, but nah, going into the first Sandbox promo, that transitioned perfectly into episode 1 of season 2, the long overdue Jaja episode.
Oh, bruh.
That Jaja episode was so funny, bro. Oh my god, it's
Twin, let me talk about the Jar Jar, please.
please let me get to talk about it.
Talk
Please
about that Jar Jar.
let me. How much time we going on the camera game?
Twin, what we got about? Let me see.
See.
Let me do something. Keep talking about that. Twin.
All right, so with this episode 1 of season 2, it took God knows how long.
Who knows, Twin?
It's
We gonna wrap it up in 15 minutes.
it took I don't even know. We probably gonna have to shorten that even that because I gotta edit that and on that space, and we still trying to shoot that BB.
Don't get it, Twin. We only got a few episodes.
You already know. You already know. I'm gonna keep talking, but with that going, but that being said, this episode 1, it was really interesting to get done because we had to work with Lonnie's schedule. Um,
Let me see that.
go talk about Lonnie.
Jelani. I love me some Jelani. Jelani is one of the most driven and multifaceted members of Sandbox, and I believe her to just be what's just the most indicative definition of Sandbox and what a Sandbox individual should be. Living the dream and just aspiring to be, and just that just unequivocal self of identity. You feel me? Individualization.
Because she know who she is. And
She knows who she is. She knows what she want to produce. She knows what she want to preach. She knows she want to actualize, and she knows what she wants to present. And that's why I love Lonnie. She be so unequivocal with it, and it hurt because working with that, I be like, girl, what you mean the mayor got? What you mean the mayor got you booked? What you mean?
What you mean Ray Cole got you dancing tomorrow? Oh, it be. I love Lonnie though, but back to the episode.
Thespian Day.
Oh,
Hey, shout out Thespian Day.
Shout out.
Camille Sims. Shout out Camille Sims.
Oh yeah, shout out Sandbox alone.
Shout out Camille Sims. Throw some pictures of Camille Sims. Boom,
Well,
bam, bop, episode 3. Great episode ever.
But yeah, just working with that Jaja episode. That was fun fact. That was supposed to be the first episode of Sandbox. At that was what it was supposed to be. I'm glad in hindsight it wasn't though. I'm glad.
Twin, I'm not gonna cap. If we had came in on that time in first episode, I feel like our following episodes we would have felt very undervalued.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Like
appreciate that Jaja episode so much.
exactly, like having that start off the season at that, and then we went. What was that second episode that we had? Oh no, that no, because right after you remember, right after we had filmed episode 1, we had gotten into working on the poetry showcase.
Oh no. So what was we had episode 2 left.
No, we did have an episode 2, but you got to remember that episode 2 was only like last month, gang.
What did we upload?
We owned that poetry segment.
The poetry segment was not episode 2.
No, the poetry segment took place of what would have been episode 2 at the time.
Did we upload the poetry segment before episode 2?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to
that's
tell
crazy
you.
how time.
Because we did the poetry segment in like February.
I miss that. I love that. I'm not gonna cap. I loved that poetry segment.
Oh, just recording.
Listen, the footage is a little chopped.
It is chopped. because God knows we had to sit here and splice it.
Ah,
Some people had 10-minute long poems, and it was some that just couldn't make the cut. But God knows I love the product that we
listening
did
to
push
it
out.
though is
It's
it is
beautiful.
amazing. Close your eyes and just really feel it at the heart, man. Be unbiased. You're gonna find some gems in that. But I love that poetry segment for everything it is. Karma Chameleon. I love Karma Chameleon. I really love Daya's poems. It's one of my poems for it. That Reveal the World poem.
So where that? Don't get me started on the day of the Black Sun.
Oh
Don't get me started on the day of the Black Sun.
man.
But yeah, the poetry segment, it was really refreshing, and it gave me hope for the future of Sandbox. And I even say some of the kids here at the school, because like the thing that I always stated with Sandbox, this was never school related. It was never, but seeing the way Sandbox has impacted people here at the school over time, it's been kind of interesting to see, because like I'll have people stop me in the hallway talking about, yo, I saw that Sandbox, y'all keep me going. I'm like, what you mean?
Oh, bro, no, like the way I can be at my job, just getting, doing that stuff at the P. Someone come up, walk up to me, be like, "Yo, ain't you that Sandbox dude?" I'm like,
What you mean? What
"Yeah,
you know
what you
about
what
this?
you what about that
like
Sandbox?"
like my managers at the job like, oh, how's your podcast going? I'm just like, and they be like, oh, I saw it. Like they was like, oh, I seen your prom pictures. They be checking out the content, so it's just like,
That's what I'm telling you. That's just how, like, I know, there's folks out here watching, so I know there's folks out here waiting. You
and
feel me?
and
Like,
you want to know why? Even with the audience that we have now, I'm so grateful for that, because ASAP Rocky and Ian Connor made a point in an interview that I saw, and I'm gonna try to wrap it up because we do have to go.
I gotta go.
So
Hey, hold on before we say something.
what's up?
Um,
Wait, hold on. Let me
get your thing out.
first.
I'm gonna wrap it up with you.
First, before I get to my point, I genuinely just do want to say thank you for this journey that y'all have taken us upon. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's taught me so much, and then this has given me some of the most genuine passion that I've had in my life so far. I find true joy and comfort in working on Sandbox, and just all of what is under the umbrella of Sandbox. It just gives me so much genuine passion and joy that I get to do this with my brother.
First off, I just want to say thank you to, you know, the friends, the best friends, the people I love, the people I've fallen out with, the lost friends, the, locked away friends, you feel me? And all the individuals that really uplifted me and were surrounded by me to get up here to this point. And with what we have coming forward, we're always going to continue preaching that individualization, that preparation, and that presentation with how we do it. It's going to be unequivocal. It may take longer, and it may be here when it gets here. Who knows? Nevertheless, we're never going to stop working. We're always going to keep on that Sandbox time. And with that, man, it's Sandbox.
Like I always say, the movement shall never die. It's just reborn in different frames, in different instances. But the point I was trying to make, with that being said, I really wanted to talk about something that ASAP Rocky and Ian Connor both said. They were talking along the lines of, I don't do this necessarily for the masses. It's not gain global attention. It's more so to connect with people that have the same ideals and want to be able to showcase their creativity and their genuineness and their rawness and what they do encapsulates. Now, it doesn't matter how many people I do this for. We could have 1 million fans on Sandbox, 10 million, 15. It doesn't matter the number to me. If I have someone that can truly resonate with what it is that I'm talking and I want to encapsulate with what I'm doing as an artist and a creative, then that's what matters to me the most out of anything. That I connected with somebody and then they can appreciate what it is that I'm trying to do. That's what really matters to me at the end of the day.
I stole this quote in one of my episodes. When you can't stay motivated,
I'm gonna sit down. Your hand cut off.
look, cause we finna get out of here, bro. I'm just keeping it a bean. Y'all gonna be hearing from us. I don't know when, but when you can't stay motivated, stay consistent.
And look, on that note, I'm Jared.
I'm Aden.
This has been the Sandbox Podcast. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Sandbox!